Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Deborah. Today I'm making some more or another piece for my combo coverlet. So my first thing that I wanted to do was some wonky stars. Now I've not done wonky stars before, but I thought I could give it a go and see if it turned out. For this one I am actually going to measure at least the squares for the, like the 9 patch. And I'm making them 3 inches. So the bits that I end up with are not going to waste because I have got another piece that I'm going to do with them. But I know that I need to have at least some base pieces in that 3-inch size or A size so that I can then add the wonky star part to them. I'm using the same fabric that I used when I did my wonky log cabin, so it will tie in and match quite nicely. So now I have at least this many, so let's just put this out. Let's check which is the back and which is the front. It's very hard to tell on this fabric. That's the front, because it's so low volume that you can't really see it. So that will be not the middle one. This will be the outside of my wonky star. So they're going to be quite big when I put them together. So basically I need 8 of the 3.5-inch, 3-inch squares. I don't know why I'm saying 3.5 because they're only 3-inch. And then I need 1 for the center, and I'm thinking I'll make it red in the center. It's in keeping with the wonky log cabin that I did. And then this piece I will use on one of the points, so that's not going to go to waste at all. And now I have to put this together, so these will be plain on the corners like that, and then my star points will be in here. Put them to one side, and I need 4 of these. And to create the wonky, you do it like this. Let's grab my pins. Made myself a little pin cushion just out of a little tin. It's a EPNS, electroplated nickel silver, so not real silver. And it's quite good because it's got 2 handles, so I can grab hold of it easily. And all I did was put some batting in there with a bit of fabric. I haven't even glued that in or anything, and it's still sitting in there. We'll see how it goes. I thought I'd do that, use it for a while, and then we'll see how that goes. So now I need some different colours. Now this has got a selvage on it, but that's okay because that will just fold over. I think the thing with this is getting your head around the fact that you're not putting it on the corner, that you pin it to the middle and then you'll fold it over. So I'll just pin a few bits on. They don't have to be a regular size. The only thing they have to do is when you fold them over, they need to cover up that corner. So if it's a smaller one like this, for example, I would have to make sure that once it was sewn on, that when it folds it's going to fit. So I might have to do that like that on there. And then when you come back and do the other one, let me say a piece of this, for example. So once I've sewn that on, then you do exactly the same with this. So I'll go and sew one lot on and come back and show you what I mean. Now this one I sewed on too far and it didn't cover it when I flipped it. It's only just covering it now. So yes, need to be careful of that, be aware of that when you're doing this. And now I'll just cut those down. Now I know that people cut this bit off. I've watched a few videos and people will go through and cut that bit off. I honestly couldn't be bothered. I'm going to leave it how it is, just on there like that. It'll be a little bit more bulk, but it's not going to be too much. And for the trouble of doing that, honestly, no, I don't think that's me. I think I'd be very bored very quickly having to go through and chop all those off. And yes, I could also use my quilt ruler when I'm doing this, so I might get a straighter edge. Maybe I should. I'll just try that, see if that works. Yeah, I probably need to use my ruler, but anyway, we'll just cut this off like this for now and see. So that's one part, and then with the next one, you need to make sure when you're doing this, you don't go right up to the corner because you'll cut the point off your star if you do that. So with the next one, I think I'll do this one here. And I'll have to put it fairly low down because it's not very wide, but it should be okay. And I realize that I don't even need to pin them. I can sit at the machine and just piece them as I go with a whole heap of these little squares and just, you know, put the next one and the next one and the next one. They don't really chain piece very well. They probably would if I cut all this off first, but I don't really want to do that. Again, I just think that I'll do it this way and it should be right, hopefully. So I need some more fabric. I'm just looking for something I might have already cut, like this one, for example. So this is all going to be in the blues and reds. So let me take some fabric over and do the next one. And I think that I'll probably cut a few more of these and do a whole heap at once I've done this first lot. I've got my little baby ruler out because I think it's easier to, you know, move it around when it's not quite so big. So I think some of these strips are a little bit small, but I have got that within the margin, and I didn't come in, and I've seen people come in and do this. I'll just show you on this one. So they put the piece of fabric there and then they finger press it and then they go and pin it and then they sew it. I actually didn't do that. All I did was just go like that and make sure it was long enough or wide enough to go over the corner. So I'll show you again. At the machine, I just went like that and then I went, oh, that's fine, and then I sewed. You can certainly press and do all of that if you want to. You know, I would think that that would drive me crazy. So let's cut these down. But I will agree it's much better to cut it down with the ruler. Now I've got the baby ruler out. Now that one is a very tiny little piece of star, but I'm guessing that that should work. Let's do the others that I've done and see if that works. I'm going to have all these little tiny bits left over, I think. Much easier with the ruler. I would recommend using a ruler, even me who hates using things like that. There should be another one. Where? Oh, here. Can't find it in amongst all the fabric. I also think it's easier to turn it over and do it on the back side. You could probably do it from the front if you wanted to, but the back seems like it's easier to me. Now let's put this together. So we'll have the red one in the middle, then we'll have 4 around the corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll put the stars in. 1, 2, here's one here, 3, and there's one there. Is that making a star? I think it is, making a wonky star. So there you go. I'll go and sew all this together and we'll have another look at it after I've done that. There's my first ever wonky star. Now, I don't know if this is correct or not, because this one is probably meant to go into the point there, I would think. So I've made these bits a bit too big, but I don't know, does it matter? Maybe I haven't put them on the right way. Maybe I've turned them. Maybe this one was meant to go up here. Don't know, but I guess it's a star shape. It's pointy on the ends. So I think that it will do. Once I've sewn up a few more, I will come back and show you what my next step's going to be. It's not going to be joining these blocks together. That would just be way too easy for me. I think I'll do something different with them. So the next in this will be a wonky house, and here's one that I've made before. I'm going to take you step by step through how I made this one. The first thing is to find a body for the house. So I think that I will cut some of this, although I quite like that on the roof. No, I might, I did that last time. Let me do the dots this time. I need something bigger than what I've already got cut, so I'll have to cut into this fabric, which is fine. It's okay. And then I'm just going to cut some sort of a shape. So I'll probably get quite a few houses out. So I've just chopped that, and then I will maybe cut here like that. And that can be sort of the body of the house. And then I will take this and have another roof like that. And I like the idea of having the red door. Although, do I want them all to have red doors? Let me see. I think I will do a red door this time. And that piece only needs to be super tiny, but wide enough that when you sew your seams on, you've got a door shape in there. So in order to do the door, I need to cut this fabric. So I need to cut a piece where the door is going to sit, and then I need to cut a piece where the window is going to sit. So if I cut those two like that, I then need a piece for up here. So I'll need another bit of this, just a little bit. Let's see, is that going to be big enough? Yes. So a bit for up there, and then I will need bits for here and here because I want to put a window in. So we'll cut, let's see, another piece there, and then another piece there. So that'll be the whole house now, and I need a piece that's going to go in this window. What about this dot? Just a little tiny bit. Doesn't have to be straight as long as I can sew it into there. And then this will be the roof of the house, and I probably want to do a little chimney as well. Maybe I'll do this little bit of blue. This should be enough to put a chimney up, I think. So that will be a chimney that goes up there, and I need some sides and ground. So where is the something I've already cut? All right, so I've got this, which can be the sides of the house, although I think I need that a bit bigger. What about this one, if I had some more of that, or this one? Now this is great for scraps, so I'll probably make this one quite long because I need to build the sides of the house here into it, and the sky and everything. So that can be the ground, and then I've got some other pieces. Now, because I'm trying to use all these little bits, there's no reason why I can't join these together. So I think what I'll do is I'll just cut some strips that are higher or bigger than the house, and then I will join them together to do the sides. And I'll show you what I mean by that when I get them into position. So I just cut some strips, and I may need one more. Oh no, that should be fine, I think. All right, let's see how we go with that. So I'll go and join all these together, and I'll come back. Probably won't put the ground on yet until I figure out the length I need the ground. I'll just show you an interim step. I've sewed 2 lots of these together. This is my window, so I've sewn that on there, and this is my door. Now, I think I'm going to need a bigger piece on top of the door. Let's see. Probably. Yeah, that's not going to be long enough, so I'll have to put another bit of blue on here. That's fine, but they are long enough for there. I think I used the wrong piece. I should have used that piece, but never mind. There are no issues, there are no errors, we'll just keep moving. And that's going to be there. And then the sides will go on like that. So normally you would just sit at your machine, take your scissors, chop things apart, add a bit more on when you need to. Obviously I'm coming back here to show you what I'm doing. I need another piece on there as well, so I'll cut another bit. And I'll go and join all of this part here together now. So I have these bits together now. Now if you wanted to, you could certainly cut all of this off before you sew it. It's not a problem. I haven't done that, but I can go back and cut it later. And it might be easier if you do trim it back as you're going, certainly on the edges so that you can match them up. So that will be my window there. Now I've noticed that my window is probably a bit too close to the door. So that's easy fixed. I'll turn it round and I'll just make my house a little bit longer by adding that in there. You can see how easy it is to fix anything up. So this is going to go on here, and then I'll add this piece and I'll come back and show you then. I've joined all of that together. Not quite looking like a house yet, but give it a moment, it will. Now I'm just going to trim it off. Now I do need a straight edge for the bottom ground to go on, so I will use my ruler to trim it off. I don't need straight edges on these sides, but while I'm here I will do that. I find it really hard to cut straight lines when the fabric's not straight. I guess I'm just going to have to embrace that. So I'll also do a straight line here for my roof to go on, which is over at the machine. I'm not going to cut the sides off because I don't know how big a roof I want. I may end up cutting the sides, but this is going to be the ground here. So I'll go and put the ground on as well now. Now we'll see how big the roof needs to be. Obviously I don't want a roof as wide as that. And you can see this is probably what I used for the other one. I'll just cut that like that. And that's going to be the roof. And I need some more fabric to go around it. Again, I've got this star one and I'm going to use it. I'm going to put a piece of that here and a piece of that here like that. And then for the chimney, I will do the same. I'll just put pieces of this either side of the chimney. I'm not going to stick the roof on until I've sewn the sides of it on. This is what the roof looks like now. I didn't even cut the fabric. I just turn the other end up and put it on. Now what you want to do is make the bits on the end, the bits you just put on, make them square so you can add some more stuff to them. You could add stuff to them in the shape they are, but it will use less fabric if you do it this way. And there you go. That's the house roof. And with the chimney, all I need to do is to chop a bit so that the chimney can fit in, and a bit for the other end where the chimney's going. It's over at the machine. I also need a piece on top though. So I will cut a third piece that's the chimney's going to sit underneath, and it won't be that big obviously. I'll go and sew that and come back and show you. So here's this piece, and I haven't got it long enough yet. It needs to be at least as wide as the roof of the house, or as wide as your widest piece, which in my case is the roof of the house. I can go and sew that piece on there. I mean, I could put this over if I wanted. I could also turn it. I might do that. I might do that to show you. Make it a bit wonkier than what I had planned. So I will turn that. Now, you can, as I said before, you can pin it or you don't have to, but because I want that angle, I'll just put a pin in there. And then with this one, I need to make it wider. So I'm going to start by chopping the end off and then chopping the chimney, because I probably don't want the chimney quite that tall. That's a big chimney for a little house. And then because I've got this piece here, I can pull this apart rather than wasting another piece, although I've got plenty I could use, but just to show you how you can use your scraps. And then I can put this piece down onto the end here. And I don't have to line it up. I can then come back and chop that afterwards. You don't have to use the same fabric. I mean, I am because I happen to have it, but you don't have to. You could use a whole range of different fabrics. I would suggest, if you want your house to stand out, that you make them low volume, which I've done here. And then that goes on there like that, and then this one will go on here. And I might just make that a bit crooked to there too. What does that look like? I think that's quite cute. Okay, let's put this on. And here's this house. So I will straighten it up. Turns out that I didn't need to join that piece on, but I can use that for something else, so that's fine. And I'll straighten this edge up as well. Now, because I would want that straight, I probably need to add a piece on here. But I'm not going to, because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these after I've done it. Now I have two wonky houses that I could put side by side and do a little wonky village. Absolutely. I might just do something random with them all though, including the wonky stars, because I think they would look really cute sitting above in the sky of the wonky houses. There's my star, which is much bigger than my houses, so I might have to rethink that. But I could just do stars and houses randomly, couldn't I? Yeah, I think I'm going to do that because I thought the stars were smaller than that. And yes, I haven't even matched my point up very well here. I don't really mind about that. I know the quilt police might not be happy that I haven't matched my points, but that's fine. I've done pretty good on 3. Well, I've done pretty good on 2, let's say, and the rest not so much. Now I'm going to go off and make some more houses and some more of the stars, and then I'm going to show you how I put these together for my combo coverlet. But for now, this is Deborah. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Cheers.